let's talk about what it means that these slopes are equal. Well, remember, does anyone remember what the slope of the indifference curve is? What do we call the slope of the indifference curve? Yeah?
MRS.
The MRS. So the slope of the indifference curve is the marginal rate of substitution. In particular, it's the negative of the margin utility of movies over the margin utility of pizza. Remember, it's the negative of the margin utility of the x-axis over the margin utility of the y-axis. So marginal rate of substitution is the rate at which you're willing to substitute between movies and pizza, which is a function of your margin utilities. Okay? If your margin utility for movies is very high, okay, then you need a lot of pizzas. Then you wouldn't trade movie unless you get a lot of pizza for it. If your margin utility of movies is very low, you'd be happy to give up a movie even for a small fraction of a pizza. Okay? So that's the marginal rate of substitution. That's about preferences only. At the same time, we're saying that that marginal rate of substitution is equal to this slope is equal to the slope of the budget constraint. Well, the slope of the budget constraint we call the marginal rate of transformation, which is the price ratio. Okay? The slope of the budget constraint is the negative of the price ratio. That's where you were sort of one step ahead of us here. Okay? So preferences give us that this is the marginal rate of substitution. The mechanics of the market give us the marginal rate of transformation. And utility maximization gives us that those are equal because they're equal at that tangency. Think about the ratio of the margin utilities as the marginal benefit. Okay? So it's the benefit of another movie in terms of pizza. Okay? The marginal rate of substitution is the benefit of another movie in terms of pizza. It's how much you like that next movie relative to how much you like that next pizza. The cost, the marginal rate of transformation, the cost is the price of that next movie relative to the price of that next pizza. So what we're saying here is we're setting benefits equal to costs. Okay? In particular, we're setting marginal benefits equal to marginal costs. The marginal benefit, the benefit to you of that next movie in terms of pizza has got to be equal to the marginal cost, the cost to you of that next movie in terms of pizza. And this notion that the optimum will be where marginal benefit equals marginal cost will pervade through the whole course. When we do firm maximization, it'll be the same thing. It's about the next unit. It's saying that next, how do you feel about that next movie compared to the price of that next movie? Now, prices here we have being constant. You could imagine prices of movies changing as you see more, but that gets complicated. We'll worry about that later. For now, the price is constant. But the margin utilities are not constant. Margin utilities are obviously changing the more movies you see. Now, a way that I like to think about this, once again, with intuition, you have to develop your own intuition. The way that I like to think about this intuitively is to actually rewrite this a little bit and rewrite it as saying that the margin utility of movies over the price of movies equals the margin utility of pizza over the price of pizza. In equilibrium, at the optimum, this will be true. I like this because to me this term sort of says, look, the bang for the buck has to be the same across all goods. This is sort of what, for each dollar of movie expenditure, what's it buying you? What's that next dollar of movie expenditure buying you? This is saying what's that next dollar of pizza expenditure buying you? And they've got to be equal. If the next dollar of movie expenditure buys you a lot more happiness than the next dollar of pizza expenditure, then you're not at the right place. You should shift your money and spend more on movies and less on pizza. Okay? If the next dollar of pizza expenditure buys you a lot more happiness than the next dollar of movie expenditure, then you're not in the right place either. You should see fewer movies and buy more pizza.